by the BMW people, but it was actually born out of the passion and the love of a racetrack driver, Hervé Poulain, who was also great friends with those fantastic artists like Warhol, Lichtenstein, Stella, Calder, that he asked to paint the cars that were actually racing in Le Mans in the 70s. So we got Hervé Poulain, we got Le Mans, and then of course we got Jeff, I think, who is very well liked and very well received. I think you got all the honors from the French government that an American artist can receive. You've also shown, you had a great show in Versailles with your sculptures, I believe 2 years ago as well. But there also seems to be, as Jim O'Donnell has hinted at, a connection between the art cars and your institution, the Centre Pompidou.
That's right. As Jim mentioned it, in 1977 we showed the second of the art car series, the Liechtenstein one. And 1977 was a year of particular significance to us because it's a year when we opened to the public, January 31st, 1977. So in a way, our history is linked from the beginning to that of the art cars series, and it's really exciting to be able to write a new chapter. And what is also of significance is that in 1977,
we see some pictures here, by the way, with the Liechtenstein at the Pompidou. Yeah.
This car was exhibited in an exhibition called Arts and Cars. And I think that exemplifies one of the core beliefs of the Centre Pompidou, which is that there should be no boundaries between art, architecture, design, industrial creation, because what we believe is that art is a driving force towards a more creative and innovative society. And I think this belief is also behind the art car series concept, as well, of course, as the ideas that we share as well of bringing art into the public arena.
And I think you did show Jeff Koons' work pretty early, right?
That's right, that's right. As early as 1987, I think Jeff had his first show of significance in France at the Pompidou, and it was a show called Traders of Desire. And Jeff was telling me earlier that Mrs. Pompidou attended the opening of the show. Mrs. Pompidou, who was the widow of our founder, President Georges Pompidou. And if I may recall a more personal note, Mrs. Pompidou was a great admirer of Jeff's works, and an early admirer. And on her last trip to New York City, she came to visit you in your studio to ask you if you would do a piece to go for auction for a foundation. And you said yes, and you kept your word even after she passed away. And the piece was sold last year. So I think she would have been really thrilled that you have this opportunity to show your latest creation for BMW Art Cars at the Centre Pompidou. And she would have been thrilled, and of course I'm thrilled to have you back in Paris after your hugely successful show in Versailles.
And that's June 1st. I think we have an opening with the car being signed and everything. And on June 2nd, it will be available to the public with a press conference. It will only be there for 1 day, because right after that, it's coming straight from Munich, basically en route to Le Mans, because we need to dismantle it, I think, on the night of the 2nd already, because it needs to go to Le Mans right away in order to go through summer testing for the actual race on June 12th and 13th. Thank you for making that that pit stop possible at the Centre Pompidou. It's in the foyer, I believe, so it's free of charge. It's really on June 2nd, everybody can come and visit. We expect large crowds. So again, thank you very much. And Jim, I mean, you made some opening remarks, and we talked about the whole project a little bit, but just in terms to contextualize that a little bit more, why is BMW involved in the arts in the first place?
Well, I think it's part of our overall contribution to the cultural environment. We are involved in modern art. Two other pillars we're involved in. We're involved in design and architecture, and we're involved in music, and classical music and jazz music. And we try and bring those to the world audience, and we have probably 100 venues this year where we will touch our customers and our prospects through art.
In 35 years with the Art Car series, I mean, we're celebrating that anniversary now with Jeff's car, 35 years of the BMW Art Car series. That is a commitment that has been going on for almost 3.5 decades now. Why is it still continuing after such a long time?
Well, I think that BMW prides itself in being an authentic brand. And I think what we've done is brought together some of the most authentic artists in the world to do this. It's done on a irregular basis. We don't have any firm view as to how many art cars we should do. We just know we shouldn't do too many. But we utilize them to bring them around the world, to show them off. But they are actually assets that we use and have exhibitions throughout the world. We had one here this year, last year, and we also brought it to Mexico. So we use them, and I think it's art in motion.
And we look at it, it's 1999, it was Jenny Holzer, and then in 2007 it was Olafur Eliasson who dismantled the entire hydrogen car, and now we are back to racing with Jeff's car, which is actually great, going back to the roots on the 35th anniversary. And going back to the roots also brings me to Mr. Mario Tyson, director of BMW Motorsports. I think you also have some announcements to make, because it just has been cleared what will be the drivers of the cars that will be racing for BMW at Le Mans.
Yeah, that's true. That's basically the fourth announcement we can make today. We will have two cars in Le Mans. One car carries number 78, which will be in BMW Motorsport livery. And this car will be driven by Jörg Müller, who has been part of the 99 Le Mans program already, together with Augusto Farfus from Brazil and Uwe Alzen. And the other car, number 79, will be the art car driven by two Germans, Dirk Müller and Dirk Werner, and by the triple touring car world champion, Andy Priaulx. And Andy is here with us today. So Andy, why don't you come up and join us?
Not only triple world champion, but also member of the British Empire, appointed by Queen Elizabeth II. Well, let's not only do tell, but let's do show and tell, because you will be driving that car, obviously. What will it be for you to? You'll be riding that art car. What are you scared that it might distract you, or are you looking forward to this?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, all the drivers were quite excited and anticipating, whether it was going to be me or him who was going to get to drive this car, and it's a great honour for me to be able to drive this car, because I think Jeff was really connecting with the energy and the flow and the intention of the car. And I think as a racing driver, it's all about channeling energy and making sure that your performance is optimized at the right time. And I think this car, well, I know this car's a tremendous car, the M3 GT2. The curves are right, and normally when a car looks good, it goes good. So I'm absolutely honoured to be part of it, and I hope that I can tap into that amazing energy and put that into great performance at Le Mans for BMW.
And don't crash it, please.
Well, you're going to be doing a lot of painting if that happens, that's for sure.
There's an artist called Chamberlain. He's a different artist, and he does sculptures of crashed cars, but we don't want that.
No, that's the wrong type of energy.
No, that's the wrong artist.
Wrong type of energy. That's,
but maybe you can share some, because I mean you're obviously driving that car. Maybe you can share some technical details with us.
Well, sure. I mean, this is obviously the GT2. It's one of the hottest and most competitive classes at Le Mans. It's very, very tight. It's a beautiful 4-litre V8 engine producing about 500 brake horsepower, 500 Newton meters of torque, so it's got a kick. Tremendous sequential 6-speed gearbox, and the car has a really good feel about it. The chassis is strong, the chassis is very, very reactive, and well, I must say that it's a very young car. The concept is young, but the car has a lot of performance, and I think will probably be part of BMW's history in the future. I'm absolutely sure. I think this car has an awful lot of potential.
So talking about potential, maybe, I mean, racing or competing in the GT2 class in Le Mans. Le Mans has been going on since 1923. The most, as Jim said, the most, the endurance race, the most important one on the planet. And I think you started in 1999, actually, when the last time the BMW was involved with Le Mans. And now you're back on the track, on the racetrack in 2010. What are our chances in the GT2 class?
Well, I'm really looking forward to this year's race, because I still have very fond memories of '99. Even after 10 years of Formula One, it is outstanding to win a 24-hour race. If you are in charge as a driver or as a team member, you are really 24 hours on duty, being at the pit wall. Anything can happen anytime. And then if you win that race after 24 hours, it's so emotional, nothing compares. And so obviously this year we will not We will not go for overall victory, but for class victory. And I think GT2 will be the toughest class, the strongest competition. We are fighting Ferrari, Porsche, Corvette. And we have seen already here at the season's opener in Sebring that it will be a very close fight. And it'll be a fantastic event.
I mean, Jeff will be there, I'm sure. You will be there on the June 12th and 13th? Okay, great. And 24 hours race means that you don't sleep for 24 hours, or even
Actually,
longer.
it's about 40 hours because the race starts on Saturday, 4 p.m. So you start preparation Saturday morning, and then it would be Sunday evening until you really have wrapped up everything after the race, and so it's quite tough.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much, Andy. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think before some of you have one-on-one interviews scheduled that we will have going on later. We have 2 people with microphones. If you have questions now, I would like to open up the floor for immediate questions, if you may have them. And just raise your hand, and the mic will be brought to you. Someone, please. Yeah.
Mr. Koons, will you be painting the car yourself, or will you be using our studio to paint too?
I'll be working with the team, and always I've been enjoying working with BMW's design department, because tremendous facilities. So I've done all the design work in my studio, laying everything out, but the actual application I'll be working with BMW.
All right. Well, then I thank you very much. Again, all the panelists will be available for questions afterwards. And I think what we should do now is I actually wanted to show you one more picture of, I think, Jeff, if you remember when you were first here in Munich to look at the, you took a picture of this, when you first came to the motorsports division, there is this famous column there that has been signed by many race drivers, and you just wrote "to the future, to our future" on it. Yeah, that was on July 16th last year. That's when we started the whole thing, and that's what we're looking forward to our future in the next 2 or 3 months. When the car will be presented at Mr. Sabin's museum, when it will be racing at Le Mans. And it would be great now if we make the possibility for photographs to be taken. So if I may ask the panel to get up and we just take the seats away, and it would be great, Jeff, if you could stand somewhere here between the great Calder car and the M3 GT2. Thank you very much.
Shouldn't we be behind?
Sure.
Don't stop that. Why do you want to stop that? Tell me. No.